Hey everybody, it's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. It is Monday night and this is Twisted Stitches, and we are coming to you live from our guest room at home because it is 2 days before vacation and I am just running back and forth like a crazy lady trying to get everything done. And I am so glad to be with all of you tonight for a little break from all the craziness of the preparation. It's just crazy. So hello, Donna Nahalo and Nancy Robertson. Thank you for joining us. And Jillian is here. Jillian, I hope you're feeling well. Good evening, John Curtin. It was lovely to meet you as well. How exciting that you stopped in the shop last week. Debbie Andretta is with us, and it's great to have you here, Debbie. And we are, you can see Minnie and Tucker are tucked in behind me, trying to be very good girls and boys right now. And Oreo is outside, but if he decides to tap on the door, I will surely bring him in and let him say hi to everybody. What a great opportunity for you all to get to see the rest of the family here as I am working from the guest room this evening. What craziness, Nancy Parks says. I don't know, it's trying to get everything ready for, see what happens when you work from home? That's the big dog, the Minnie, that's little Minnie Pooch. Minnie, be quiet, good girl. And you notice the blue squeaky toy is on the front of the bed there, at the foot of the bed, right next to Tucker, if you can see. So let's see. So yeah, it has been just a little bit crazy. You try to tie up all those loose ends. I remember when I was, back in my corporate days, every time I was going on vacation, I would, I learned a long time ago that when you leave for vacation, you leave it as if you were never coming back, so that when you do return, everything is nice and just the way you left it. So I do my best, but it doesn't always work that way. And of course, now that it is tax season and my accountant is tapping on my shoulder, I'm trying to get everything done for him as well. So that's what life is all about. So let's see who else has joined us here. Tina Yakovu and Beth Ann Wilkes. Yes, Cheryl, I am looking very much to a relaxing vacation, and it will be. It's always nice and relaxing, even if we do have some activities while we're there. I know Paul's going to be doing his show. I don't think I'll be doing a show on Monday night while we're away, but you probably will see us and hear from us throughout the week. We'll try to give you some warning if we're going to go live. Sherry Cox, thank you for joining us. Jillian, you are doing great. And Jack says, thank you for the help. And I say thank you to Jack for helping us out and being a loyal customer during the holiday season as well. Lori Royce is with us. Michelle Lewis. Michelle, I'll see you tomorrow. And you wouldn't need a vacation if you weren't trying to take one. Yeah. I don't know. I need a vacation every 6 weeks. Marianne Murray Summers. Hi there, Marianne. Marianne, I was talking to someone over the weekend who was asking me about cruises. I'm knitting cruises overseas in Europe. So I thought I might connect the two of you. You might have some information that you could share with her from your past experiences, if you wouldn't mind. Rita Johnson-Carterman is with us, and Diane Gondek. Renee Richardson, it's sweater weather in Dallas, yay! You look at me, I'm in my cozy, this is one of my favorite things to wear. It's like a giant blanket that you just wear, and it is so toasty warm, and I love it. Kristen Parkhurst, good evening, my friend. Oriana Bruno, it's great to see you. Andrea Messina is with us. Darren from the Cape. And good, Marianne. I will let her know. Her name is Rhonda, and Rhonda will be in touch with you. Come here, Miss Minnie. No, I can't. I'm not going to. Right. I'll do it one time. This is our life, guys. We are throwing the squeaky toy. Uh-oh. It ricocheted, Minnie. You're going to have to come back and get it. Hold on. There it is. Okay. All right, that's it. One throw and you're in. Okay, so now you get to see my giant sweatshirt and I'm loving it. Hi, Nancy Ehrman. All right, So this morning, as I was thinking about all the things that had to be done, and also last week, oh my goodness, last week when we were going out furniture shopping, I was determined to get my that silky twist cowl done, which I absolutely love. And I was able to get it off the needles and get it ready to wear because that's what I wanted to do. And then we got in the car and I said to Paul, I have nothing to knit. We have an hour trip in each direction and I have nothing on my needles. And I'm not the person who's going to grab a pair of socks and start knitting socks. I'd rather take a charted work into the car and something that I'm working on and knit that. But I'm just not that tiny project person. And I guess I should have small things like that for when I don't have anything else on my needles, like that emergency knitting. And I call it emergency knitting because if I'm not knitting, I'm not happy. No matter how tired, how stressed I am, I love to have something on my needles. It just puts me in the right frame of mind. Hi, Nancy Ehrman. Thanks for joining us. And so that's what I thought we'd talk a little bit about tonight. It's like why we knit and what happens while we're knitting. I don't know about you, but it's kind of like the rest of the day just kind of melts away. I'm working on something. I'm working on my Aria sweater right now. And I have, it's color work. And I've got the little bit of sparkle in there. And I just am loving watching it come together. No matter how much work it is, I'm just loving every stitch that goes into my work. Deb Massa said, I made a hat on the way to New York City. My daughter wore it the entire time. Isn't it wonderful? Love the yarn I bought from you. Thank you so much. So when you're knitting, how do you feel? And it's the emergency knitting is great. It's that little sock project in her purse. So Beth Carlson is saying it's that little sock project in her purse. That's great. And I'm thinking for me, it's like the diamond's edge or, something, what's that? The age of brass and steam, those types of things. So I like a shawl before I knit socks. Everybody's got their own thing. And so that's Sophie's scarf. Perfect little project to have in your purse. It's easy. All you need is that little edging, the I-cord edging, and you're all set to go. The rest of it's really simple. Just a couple of increases and you got it. Nancy Parks, you do need a show free. Maybe you need to teach Maisie how to drive. She certainly has to learn how to stop chewing on your boots though first. I saw that. So Sherry Cox says, right now I'm working through a gigantic yarn snarl. That's not relaxing. Well, it's not for you and probably not for you because all you want to do is get back to the knitting and enjoy that, the rhythm of the needles. And I understand that. I will tell you that when my mom was alive, if I had a snarly yarn, I just left it with her. And when I came home at the end of the day, she had that little thing all sorted out and was back into a ball again and good to go. So, and I know Michelle Lewis enjoys untangling yarn too. Not me. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I'm always too anxious to get to the knitting. Rita says, I like to knit something every day. I like to knit something every day. I do too. I don't have to finish a project every day, but I do enjoy progress every day with what I'm doing. I've gotten better at juggling more than one project, though I do really enjoy the getting something on the needles and off the needles, that sense of satisfaction when it's done. Nancy Ehrman trying hard to finish some things up before the upcoming knit along. Yeah. Just okay, you'll get them done. You'll get them done. And if not, they'll be there And then you'll have sleeve week, and you work on sleeves all week long because you're doing some beautiful work and great projects. See, Michelle says untangling yarn is meditative. And Deb says it's meditative. And if it is for someone, I think about them and put little prayers. Oh, and if you're knitting for someone, I think about them and put little prayers in the stitches. I try to knit every day. Yep, absolutely. Mary Summers, I knit incessantly. I want to knit incessantly. Sometimes I'm busy helping all of you, so my incessant knitting gets stopped, but that's okay because that's what I do and I love it. So when I have my moments, I just want to knit. I can't wait to sit on a plane. I don't care how long it takes us to get where we're going. I'll be knitting the whole time. People fall asleep, I knit. That's how I just want to have my project going all the time. Diane Gondek also believes that untangling yarn is meditative. And yeah, you will get it all done, Nancy, because you're a determined person. I've learned that about you. Very determined. So I found this little, created this little piece of artwork today. And that's what I used to introduce the class, because when I did some research on all the benefits of knitting, if you think about it, we're all talking about how it's stress release, our hand dexterity. Now, there are times when my hand dexterity gets a little bit too much exercise, and I need to work on that. But so you think of all the benefits: hand dexterity, motor coordination, social connection. My goodness, we have so many knit-alongs coming up, and everybody just wants to knit in community now. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fantastic. And you are always welcome to come in the shop whenever we're there. As long as the shop is open, there's open knitting. We do have structured times for it, but there are folks who come in regularly who just want to sit and knit with us. Hi, Mimi. Want to say hi to everybody? Yep. Who just want to come and sit and knit with us. And they know that I can't sit and be social all the time, but I'm always there and do enjoy the company of each and every one of you. And Diane Gondek is proof of that, because a few weeks ago, she and a friend stopped in the shop, and we enjoyed an afternoon of knitting and conversation while I worked, and they crocheted. And Diane says, I crochet every chance I get. There are times I lose track of time, and the next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. That does happen with me as well. I will say, yes, this is Minnie. I will say that sometimes I don't have the, my eyes don't stay open as long as I would like them to, especially after a crazy day. But I do get carried away sometimes and go, oh my gosh, it's really a lot later than I thought it was going to be. 1 a.m., sometimes 2 if it's a really exciting project that I want to get through. And I happen to be binge watching a limited series that is maybe 8 episodes long. That can get me through a whole Sunday and a half a sweater. So I like to work on that. And I do have my distraction of knitting. I mean, of movies or books while I'm knitting too. Is she ready for Aruba? Nancy wants to know if Minnie's ready for Aruba. Could you see her in a little bikini? Wouldn't she be adorable? Hi, Minnie. Yeah, she's my good girl. Sherry says, let's see. It doesn't usually bother me untangling, but I just want to work on the project. It's my dress for my granddaughter's wedding in June. Oh my goodness, I would love to see that when it's ready. Gorgeous, I'm sure. Sherry, you do a great job. Diane Gondek says, I wish I lived closer. I wish everybody lived closer. Can you imagine the shop would be, I need a bigger shop. I need a bigger shop anyway, but no, I'm not getting one. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But, you know, I think about, too, the mind, how our minds work when we're knitting, too, you know, the cognitive function, the fact that we're thinking, we're solving a puzzle. Every project we do is a puzzle in process. Now we have Tucker who wants to come and say hi. Come here. Hey, Tucker. Come here, little guy. Here's my big boy. Say hi, everybody. Say hi to the people on. Say hello. Say hello, everybody. Yep. So all that type of thing of the mind, the cognitive function that we were talking about. I'm sorry, the dogs got me distracted there for a moment. And the puzzle, each stitch adds to the puzzle, no different than if you're working with a jigsaw on a jigsaw puzzle. There's so many great benefits to it. And so I just want to knit wherever I go and whatever I do. And I'd love to hear more about your knitting and how it helps you to get through your days and the times in your life. I mean, think about times when, maybe life wasn't going the way you wanted it to, or there were some things that were going on in your world that knitting was an escape. And, like when you can't control one thing, you find something you can control, and maybe it's your knitting. Minnie and Tucker. Who knows what's going on behind me? So yes, our knitting is a great way to help escape from some of the other things that we might have on our minds and keep our worlds a little bit on track when we feel that things are just a little there's a little disarray in our lives. So Veronica New says, I've broken my wrist, and while they were putting me through physical therapy and it wasn't helping, so I got out my knitting and started knitting. I have more use of my hand since I started knitting. Well, yeah, because we just need to get that movement in there. And, when I think about the movement in knitting, let me take this comment. I don't know if when I do this, you can't see the rest of what's happening. Hold on a second. I want to see if I can take that comment. There I say. Okay. When I was knitting recently, I get swelling in my hand here. And I was thinking, well, now why is that? If I'm knitting right-handed, this is where all the motion is coming. But what I didn't realize was how you're constantly pushing the stitches toward the tip of the needle, because we know that that's the tip of the needle is the best place to knit. So we could, in doing that, move this movement, especially when I was using a small circumference needle, it really wore on that bone. This bone right here was not happy. Nancy, Rita says, it amazes me how while thinking of the knitting, it at the same time distresses me. You're right. It does distress you. I agree. I can focus. I'm so focused on getting the stitch or making sure I'm doing it right, or the design, that everything else just kind of goes away. It melts away, and you have to be focused. You've got to be in the moment with your knitting, especially if you're reading a pattern. If we're just doing that little, knitting in a circle, that's fine. And sometimes that's what we need. But if you're the type of person who, like me, really enjoys puzzles, that's why I like the more intricate designs in knitting, and it keeps me more involved and kind of takes everything else away. Nancy, she says it's calming and it reduces anxiety. And Veronica, it helps me with all the stress that I deal with since COVID. And, for some of us, that has had a really heavy impact on us. And whatever it is that causes you stress and emotional distress, then we've got to look at how can we counter that. And for us, knitting and crocheting is it. Michelle says, thank God I have knitting to sit through a 6-hour infusion. That's right. Knitting has gotten me through all those hard times. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Diane, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Just lost a dear friend to colon cancer. It's been a really tough time. Yep. Crocheting does help keep your mind busy. And it just gives you something else to think about. And, you might even be thinking about that friend while you're crocheting. And, it's okay for them to come to mind. We're not supposed to forget people who we lose, but we can kind of take a little respite from the sadness and start to do something else that kind of makes our mind clear a little bit. I've not had a time when I said, I just am so stressed I can't knit, or I'm so distraught I can't knit. I just haven't had that. And I'm not saying that people who do are wrong or that I'm wrong. I'm just saying it hasn't happened for me. For me, when I feel that stress, I want to knit. And I may not even know what I want to knit, but I just know I want to have something on my needles. I need this, and I need this to both be working. Lisa Simmons says, when I had my stroke, my OT was impressed with my hand recovery. See, that's great. Knitting can also decrease blood pressure. And we're burning 300 calories an hour knitting? Wow. I'm going to have to knit a lot more. That's a lot of calories. That is a lot of calories. Now, this is really funny. Keep that in mind, what I just read from Sherry Cox. And now let's see what Donna Nahala says. My Fitbit has shown me that I took a nap while knitting. So for some of us, it's really, really very relaxing. And for others, it's very stimulating. Who knows? Maybe it's the project we're working on. Let's see. I have to knit when I watch TV. I can't sit and do nothing. I can't sit and do nothing. Watching TV alone is boring. I might find that I get distracted from my knitting for a moment and watch the screen and I go, okay, now I'm back. I want to make sure I didn't miss something. So I kind of get distracted from one or the other for a moment, but as long as my mind is on the project, I can certainly, I can stay focused on it, and I'm a very happy person. Dina, I love this. Dina Justice said it's therapy on a string. Isn't that great? Perfect words. Therapy on a string. Lisa Simmons said I had a really bad flight and had my knitting. The person next to me couldn't believe how calm I was knitting. Well, might as well do something. Yep, I love that. Absolutely. Therapy on a string. We're going to have to use that. We're going to tag that. Hashtag that one. Therapy on a string. Dina Justice. I like that. So that's how we use our knitting without even realizing it to not just create a project, but to keep ourselves in the moment in our lives. And by escaping one thing, we're focusing on something else, or by focusing on something else, we're taking the pressure off whatever might have been on our minds. And I know as much as Paul is not my favorite driver in the world, I'm very happy that he's driving and I'm knitting, because I can still knit. And the hardest part when we're doing that is that my eyes are usually down at my knitting. And then if I feel the speed of the car change, I look up, and that's the instant that I see what Paul is responding to, not necessarily reacting to. But for me, it seems reaction, because I'm not watching it come this way. I just am getting the impact of, no, let's not use the word impact with driving. I'm just getting the effect of slowing down and making sure there's no impact, because Paul doesn't like to use the brakes. He probably doesn't wear out very many brakes in his cars, but I'd rather slow down a lot sooner than he does. So there's a difference between two drivers, but I'm just really glad that I am not the driver all the time. Sometimes we do switch and we take turns depending on the length of the drive. Sometimes he'll drive for part of the time and I'll drive the rest of it, so that we can each do our projects. His is usually on his devices, and mine is usually with my needles. So we take turns going back and forth. Sometimes he'll drive in one direction, I'll drive the other. And because that we do drive for food, we can certainly be on the road for a while to get a good meal. So, Minnie, what do you want, buddy? Come here. Come here. Is Tucker he has your squeaky again. There we go. So anytime we are home, this is what my life is like. Throw the squeaky and play with the dogs and still try to get my knitting in. And by the way, I've solved that problem. because I used to fight the fact that the dogs wanted to play and I wanted to knit. So now I just figure if I give them 15 minutes of playtime, then I have all the rest of the night for my knitting time, and it works out beautifully for all of us. Very, very beautifully. What do we say here? Lisa, sailors growling at a noise outside. Yes, maybe she does need to learn how to knit. And Diane Gondik says, I get a headache crocheting in the car, and she can't read either. You know, Pam Atkins is the same way. She tells me that she can't knit while she's in the car. I can read in the car too. I prefer not to read in the car. I'd rather listen to a book because that is a little bit shaky on my eyes, but I do, I love knitting in the car. It's a great way to pass the time for me and keep my eyes off the road while somebody else is driving, because I'm not a great passenger. I don't know if you are. So anyway, love the way that Silky Twist Cowl came out, guys. That yarn is glorious. It is absolutely beautiful. And I am now working on the Aria sweater that will be coming with me on vacation. I've got all my shawls picked out for vacation. I'm packed and ready to go. I'm just making sure I have everything situated here and at the shop. The shop will still be open. Michelle will be on hand. We've got a couple of knit-alongs that are starting. That the Barocco knit-along will be coming. We'll be starting the Barocco knit-along starts on. No, what do we have coming up? The Aria sweater is at the end of the month. The Barocco knit-along is in the middle of this month, right? The 12th, I believe it is. Yeah, so we got a lot going on. Oh, and by the way, we scheduled the steeking class. Yes, it is going to be the 22nd of January. So if you would like to learn steeking, this will be on the website tomorrow. You will be able to sign up for the class. If I can get it posted tonight, I will. And it'll be taught by Whitney Terrell. There will be homework for it. So what you'll be learning in the class is how to cut your work and then create your button band. So we'll be working in a small circle, and you're going to create the edges on that. So yes, we will take care of that. It'll be on the website by tomorrow morning, and I'll be sure to post something for it. And so that's what we are. We got a couple of people asking me a couple of questions. Michelle says, I can't read in the car, but I can knit in the car. Rita says, I can't read, but I can knit. I don't know. I must have missed Donna's comment. Oh, I see. Lisa Simmons said she ran a marathon. That's cute. Funny. Thank you, Nancy Ehrman. I'm glad you think it's a beauty. I'm loving it myself. Now I can actually I'm starting to see some of the design come. So I will show it to you. I'll take a picture of it tomorrow. No, I have not knitted myself a new bikini. Thank you very much. I had to do that one time for a commercial at work. No, I didn't wear the bikini, but many years ago, I had to sew a bikini out of carpet. I worked for a company that made carpet cleaner. We're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that another day. That was very interesting. But so no, I did not knit myself a bikini. What days are we away? We leave on, I'll be gone Wednesday, the 8th, and we come back very late on the 19th. So it's 10 days that we'll be away. So that is our vacay. I do not have the sharing bucket at home. So sorry, guys, no sharing bucket tonight, but I will certainly post something tomorrow. I'll pull a name out of the bucket in the morning, and we will have another name for somebody to win a sharing prize. In the meantime, thank you very much. We do appreciate all of you. And we appreciate all the kind words that you share and all those great Google reviews. By the way, you know, there's nothing that tells a small business how much you appreciate them better or more than a 5-star review. So thank you for all of you who have shared 5-star reviews on Google. And for those of you who haven't gotten the chance to do it yet, but say, oh, I've got to do it. It's a great time. And we do appreciate it. We will think about you on vacation. Yes, we will, because we do love our fans and we never stop thinking about you and sharing things with you. So watch for some lives and watch for Paul eating and and watch for me telling him to stop eating and just a wonderful, wonderful vacation. Feet up, toes in the sand. I should say, yes, feet up, toes in the sand, and no pets, just quiet. So have fun, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you soon. Let me find my little banner here. Say thank you to everybody, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye. Take care.